Van Helsing Invisible Woman. This is by Zenescope Comics. This is a oversized one shot. Oversized as in it's 32 pages long instead of the usual 21 pages. And yeah, Zenescope. So Zenescope is very hit or miss. I do like them as a publisher. I like when they're a hit, then they're great because they remind me a lot of the Chaos comics. There's also a lot of misses in terms of like their artwork can be very, very terrible, or it can be pretty decent or good. Their writing is nothing really to write home about. Like, I like to equate them to basically the comic book version of a popcorn flick. It's entertaining, action packed, usually story, but it's not gonna like win any of awards or do anything new or anything like that. So yeah, this one is Van Helsing taking on the Invisible Woman. That's another thing that anyone who's new to Zenescope is that they basically take a lot of public domain characters and they make a twist to it. So Van Helsing in this is Leslie Van Helsing. Instead of the Invisible Man, it's the Invisible Woman. Robin Hood is a female. Belle from Beauty and the Beast fights monsters. Little Red Riding Hood fights werewolves. So it's basically Gretel from Hansel and Gretel battles witches. So yeah, you basically take popular characters and then they usually turn them into females, badass female warriors. I was like, all right, that's cool. Like, I got no problem with that. Again, reminds me a lot of like Chaos comic. So yeah, this episode is basically Van Helsing taking on the Invisible Woman. So let's get right into it. So we start off with some dude trying to escape when a vampire grabs him, injects him with some drugs, and then gives him to her master for her master to feed on. So basically, he's a junkie vampire. And then he tells her, "Hey, go get some more. Like I want to keep getting high." When Leslie shows up and starts staking these vampires, and she shows up with Julie Jackal, who you might have figured out is from Jekyll and Hyde. So I'm not so familiar with this character. Like I said, like I like Zenescope, but I don't keep up with everything that they do. I usually just check them out every once in a while. My favorite is still Mercy Dante, but I haven't seen Mercy Dante in forever. I also like Hellchild. Hellchild's pretty good. And I like Helsing. I haven't really liked what she's been doing lately, but Helsing for the most part, especially when Chuck Dixon is writing her, she's really good. So yeah, I don't know this Jackal character, but she's Leslie's sidekick, and they basically go around and just start killing all these vampires, and then we see Leslie taking on the Alpha, and we see that someone's watching her, and I'm pretty sure you can probably figure it out. That's the Invisible Woman, and yeah, she's basically saying how like Leslie is always one step ahead. Like she has plans for her backup plans for her backup plans. So yeah, the Alpha basically has her pinned, and she shoves her fist into his mouth and drops a bunch of silver balls, and he explodes. And it turns out that the silver balls basically had holy water inside. And when they went inside the vampire, they heat up, they expand, the water gets out, boom. I was like, all right, that's a pretty cool weapon. Kind of crazy that you got to stick your hand inside a vampire's mouth to pull it off, but okay. And then yeah, Leslie has to leave soon so she can go hang out with her boyfriend. I saw what happened in the Van Helsing steampunk one shot where basically he like gets teleported, but I don't know how he came back, and I really don't care. I don't care for this guy. I don't care for Rick. I find him annoying. In every comic that I've seen him in, he's like super beta. Like he's the ultimate sitcom stupid dad trope that you see. Like in the last issue that I did with him, he's basically eating and getting mustard stains all over his shirt, and then he gets his ass kicked by a human, and then he like spends his time barfing on the beach, and then in the next scene he is the butt of jokes between Leslie and her friend. Like he's just the ultimate. He's not even a beta, man. He's a he's worse than the beta. He's just the ultimate loser. And I'm like, really, Leslie? Like of all the people that you're a freaking gorgeous British badass vampire hunter, and this is the dude that you settle with? Come on. Anyways, I'm just kind of rambling on that. But yeah, he's the worst, so whatever. I don't care what happens to him. So, she basically gets a call from Jackal that there's some kind of emergency at your lab. It seems like someone has snuck in. So Jackal and Leslie go to her lab, and that's when the invisible woman is following them. And at first, Leslie and Jackal like, "Are you sure? Like, that the cameras aren't picking up anything? Are you sure that someone came in here?" And then we kind of get a brief flashback of Invisible Woman. It turns out that in her world, there was a Liesel Van Helsing who became a vampire and basically killed everybody that she loved and all her friends and stuff like that. And yeah, eventually the Invisible Woman is stupid. Rather than just stick to the shadows, be quiet, and let them think that there's something wrong with their security system, she decides to attack Leslie. And yeah, eventually, like, they're able to punch the Invisible Woman and get her bleeding, so they can, even though they can't really see her, they can see like the blood stains on her. They can follow her her bloody footprints and stuff like that. And then eventually, Leslie realizes that this woman is being invisible, not through magic, but through some kind of device. So Leslie electrocutes her, and we see the Invisible Woman. It turns out the Invisible Woman is actually Julie Jackal. So it's an alternate version of Jackal. So yeah, there's more. I'm not really gonna spoil it, but basically, yeah, this Jackal woman from another universe wants to come here and kill Leslie because her version of Leslie became a vampire and slaughtered everyone. She's like, even though you're not a vampire and even though you're not the same Leslie, you're eventually going to become her or something. Like every alternate version of yourself is the same. And I'm like, I don't think that's how it works. But yeah, I would wish for her objectives to be a little bit fleshed out, just a little bit better. Like, I don't know, it'd be one thing if like maybe she came to this world to escape hers, and then she's not trustful. She's not trusting of Leslie, of this version's Leslie, because of what happened to her version's Leslie. I was like, okay, that would make sense. Like, you're not antagonistic, but you're not like, oh yeah, I'm gonna trust everything you say, because I can't do that because because my version of you slaughtered everyone that I cared for. But instead, it's just like, hey, even though like you didn't do anything to me, the person that did is an alternate reality version of you, so I'm just gonna kill you anyways, because why not? Instead of going back to my world and trying to kill my version that I hate, I'm just gonna kill you. Because that's the other thing, because I believe the Leslie in her world is still alive. Like, they killed her, but then she came back. And then Jackal basically escapes. So it's like, maybe come here, maybe study this version of Leslie to see, like, maybe I can find clues on how she fights and stuff like that I can use when I go back to my world. Maybe I can steal some of this Leslie's technology or whatever and use to help myself. Maybe Leslie finds out and it's like, hey, like, your version of me is a vampire, even though it's an alternate version of me. I'm still willing to kill her. So let's team up and fight this thing together. And then Jekyll can be like, no, I don't want to do that because I can't fully trust you, or like, I know that you're a human and that other version is a vampire and that you're different, but it's still wearing your face. So I'm not comfortable, working with you. And then maybe she tries to do it on her own, gets her butt kicked. Leslie comes in, saves her, and then she's like, you know what? Maybe I was wrong. Okay, let's team up and fight this version of Leslie. Something like that. Instead, it just feels weird. Like, okay, this version of Leslie killed everyone I loved. I'm going to escape. And then now I'm going to try to kill you. Even though you had nothing to do with that version, even though you're completely opposite of that version, even though you're willing to kill that version because that version's a vampire and you're a vampire hunter, I'm still going to try to kill you because, I don't know, I just want to. It just me. I think I'm seeing that they're trying to be sympathetic with her by showing her flashbacks of like her her friends and stuff being killed, of living in that hell verse, in her lover being trapped behind and not being able to escape with her. So they're trying to paint her up as being sympathetic, but I can't sympathize with you because your cause is so stupid. It's like you're running away from the actual Leslie that you want to kill, so you can kill this version that's done nothing to you for no other reason than, you know, it's an alternate reality version of the one that you hate. So, whatever. Other than that, it was fine. It was a decent story. It kind of ends on a cliffhanger. Like, obviously they got to go more with this. I'm not sure how I feel about Zenescope just doing a bunch of oversized one-shots now instead of doing the miniseries that they used to do. I don't know, maybe they're finding out that the oversized one-shots is bringing in more money, more sales than miniseries. I don't know. But it's just kind of annoying because then it's like, yeah, you got to keep, you know, keeping up with all these one-shots. And sometimes, I don't know, sometimes it feels like they're skipping things. Like, what's up with Rick being in back in this universe? I thought he was transported to the steampunk verse. Does that mean that there was like another series after Van Helsing Steampunk where we saw Van Helsing in the steampunk world and we saw what happened with Rick, and then, you know, that ended with Rick coming back? If so, I had no idea. So now that whole subplot is kind of just lost to me, and I don't really feel like tracking it down. Whereas, you know, if you do miniseries, then okay, I know all I got to do is read all the issues in the miniseries, and I'll be caught up on the story. So yeah, I don't really care for like everything just being one shots now. And also sometimes it can feel kind of rushed. This one surprisingly doesn't, which I thought it would be, because I felt like they did the opening scene with the vampire hunting, like that took a long time. But the whole Invisible Woman stuff, I thought that was going to be like shoehorned in, and you weren't going to give like enough time to develop that. But they kind of did. So I was like, all right, that's kind of surprising. Like, the flow of this is actually not that bad. The art's not too terrible. At least by Zenescope standards, it can be a lot worse. So overall, I would say this is a decent Zenescope issue. A lot better than some of the other ones that I've read. I would give it I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It's above average. I do wish that the Invisible Woman's goal or objective was a lot better. I think it's kind of lame. But anyways, tell me what you think. Hope you enjoyed. Got any recommendations for comics or manga, let me know, and I hope to see you next time. Later. So what'd you guys think of that video? I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe, hit that bell for a notification, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't enjoy the video, thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next video is more to your liking. Feel free to check out the playlist that you guys see, and I hope to see you guys next time. Later.